Okay, good morning. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Nedarim daf Nun number 50. The Gemara records an interesting story, which I believe is brought down in the Gemara in Tainus also. The daughter of the Caesar, Anunam Beis, she asked Yeshua ben Chananya, who was one of the biggest Rebbeim around. He was the Yeshua and Rebbe Lezer. He was a teacher of Rabbi Akiva. She asked him, "Why are you so ugly? Why are you so ugly? You're a big Talmud. You're a big Torah scholar. You know so much Torah. Hashem obviously gifted you with so much Torah so you could be a light unto the nations, but you look ugly, right? It's demeaning for God to put His valuable Torah that's going to be a light to the nations in someone so ugly." So he gave her a mashal. He said that wine, where do you keep wine? You keep wine in earthenware vessels that are very cheap and don't and smell and don't look very good. If you put it in gold and silver vessels, it's going to rot. It's going to go putrid. So that's what she did. She didn't understand how wine, stays fresh. So she put in the gold and silver vessels, and it went putrid. And he said that's the same thing with Torah. If the Torah was in beautiful gold and silver vessels, beautifully handsome young men, so then the Torah will evaporate. The Torah will go bad. But if the Torah is in earthenware vessels, and it'll stay good. But she said back, "What do you mean? There's a lot of, attractive Talmidei Chachamim." And he said to her, "Ihabu sanu," if they would have hated, or Habu Gmir Tzvei. So there's two explanations of what this means. One explanation is if they were uglier, they would know more. Another explanation is even if they are attractive, if they, in their eyes, it didn't mean attractiveness wasn't important to them, right? They didn't look at themselves in the mirror. They didn't admire themselves in the mirror. It wasn't important to them that they were attractive. Then they would know a lot. So it's not about, according to that second explanation, it's not really about whether you're attractive or not. It's about humility. It's about whether you value appearances of yourself, maybe even others, a woman, your wife. If you think about the havolim, the nothingness of materialistic benefits and aesthetics in this world, so then it would help you learn your Torah more. Now, I found this hard to understand. Similarly, to compare a Talmud Chacham to someone who's an earthenware vessel holding wine, so that's all we are as Jews. We're just kalim that hold the wine of the Torah, and we're supposed to spit out the Torah like that. Like the wine is the most important thing. That's the Torah that we learn, and the rest of our bodies are just like earthenware vessels. I mean, it's hard to understand that. So I'd like to suggest there's two types of Torah. There's Torah where it's called Gamir. Gamir v'Sabir, the Gemara says. Gamir is to learn the Torah, to retain the exact Torah, to remember Shakavatari of the Gemara, to be able to quote it back verbatim to somebody. That's Gamir. Memorize the Torah. That's Gamir. Sabir is to understand the Torah, to explain the Torah, to make chidushim in the Torah. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya, I'm going to suggest, was someone who, like the Gemara says in the end of Maseches Horios, there's two types of Talmidei Chacham. There's Sinai v'Oker Harim. There's people that have a massive amount of knowledge, and there's people that are Oker Harim that have tremendous skill when it comes to analyzing the Torah. He was probably one of these Sinai. He was probably just, he was a photocopy machine. He basically took the entire Talmud and, swallowed it into his mind. And that was the wine. And to him, that was all that was valuable. So for a person like that, right, aesthetic beauty is not valuable, partially because that's his approach to Torah. The approach to Torah is we take the Torah, we just store it in ourselves, right? To work on the Torah, to beautify the Torah, right? To make the Torah a beautiful thing that you can present to other people in a beautiful fashion, like I do in every Iyun shir that I give. So when you're working on the Torah, you're toiling in the Torah, explaining the Torah, making beauty out of the Torah. So then it's a different Torah. You're changing the Torah, and you're changing yourself also. So he was someone that would just, remember all the Torah. So it didn't, for those types of people, you're just a kli. Your body is just a kli, and it's invaluable. And if you focus more on that, on beauty, you're ruining it, because the Torah is not something that's supposed to be beautified. You just take it as it is, and that's it. However, if you're someone who also, I'm not saying it's good just to be an Oker Harim. The Gemara says Sinai Oker Harim. Sinai is better technically, However, if you're both, you should be both. You should be a Sinai. You should be someone who knows the Torah. And Oker Harim, someone who analyzes the Torah and makes beautiful chidushim in the Torah, like I do. So when you do those things, make beautiful chidushim in the Torah, so then you're not just a kli that's holding the wine. You're actually someone who is taking the wine and it's reforming the clay. I'm not saying you should put it in gold and silver vessels because those are inanimate objects, not living objects. But the goof of a person is important. The body of a person is important. And when you take the yayin, you have to work on the yayin. You have to ferment it. You have to distill it. You have to do different things in order to make it taste good or taste the way it's supposed to taste. So those are the two different ways of storing wine. There's wine that you just store in a place, like Shobin Chananya, and then there's wine where you process it and you beautify it and you make beautiful champagne out of it. So Torah, that's the first step. The Gemara says people that are just interested in knowing the Torah without knowing the depth of the Torah and analyzing the Torah, that's all it is. They're external. They're not involved in the beauty of the Torah. So the more that they less they focus on beauty externally of their appearance, that's going to help them in terms of retaining the Torah. However, if you're somebody, the Gemara is implying over here, if you're somebody that's interested in beautifying the Torah, analyzing the Torah, knowing the Torah, but also analyzing and beautifying it, then you are someone who's interested in the beauty of the Torah. And if you're interested in beauty in one thing, you're going to be interested in beauty in something else also. And you're probably going to be better looking. So he only answered, it was a good question that the daughter of the Caesar asked him. He answered for himself, but I think he only answered for himself. For other people that are engaged in beautifying the Torah, beauty, aesthetics means a lot, not just in terms of wisdom, but also in terms of materialism. Beauty is valued. If something that's valued, it's going to be valued not just in terms of your wisdom, but also in terms of the materialism. Beautiful things, materialistic things make a person happy. And that was a story we mentioned today. Rabbi Kiva married the wife of Tinius Rufus, according to the Gemara, is called Turnus Rufus, who was one of the most beautiful women in the world. The Gemara of Avodah Zarah says Rabbi Kiva was shocked how beautiful it was. He made a bracha that Hashem made such a beautiful woman. Obviously, it was amazing to him, and he valued the beauty, even a woman, chas v'shalom to say that, but he valued the beauty, and Rabbi Kiva was someone who, analyzed the Torah also. He was someone that, the Gemara says in many places, he klach on the goyim va'olos, things that were, mesechtos that really require a lot of analyzation. Rabbi Kiva was very successful in those things. So Rabbi Kiva was a student of Rabbi Shimon Chananya, but he took it to the next level where he appreciated the beauty. I don't know if Rabbi Kiva was good looking or not, it doesn't say that, but at least he was someone that appreciated the beauty, because he's someone that delved and worked on the Torah. I think that's the higher level. And if you appreciate the beauty of the Torah, you'll also appreciate the beauty of everything else in the world, including how you look. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.